Yeah, that is a great question, actually. And so Sunday, there was this incredible gasp almost of the congregation where I made this statement, this phrase, which was, if the only amount of time you spend with God is in this room, it's not enough. Like we want our relationship with God to be beyond Sunday morning. And you could feel in the room this, just this almost like, oh, that's deep, right? And there's something to act. And we've had a lot of comments about that one. And so even in that, so what's that look like for us, right? So you've got the typical answers. We talk all the time about just spending time in God's word, and so the prayers that we write and put in the bulletin that are on the app, those types of things, spending time in God's word. But I want to point you back a couple weeks. And a couple weeks ago, I really talked about three relationships that really, in the world of advice and growing and becoming more like Christ, as 2 Corinthians chapter 3 talked about, in this, there's three relationships that we all really need. And so we need these that will help us to go deeper, to make sure we're spending time with God outside of a Sunday morning context. And first of all, the relationship I shared was, number one, we need a deep relationship with God's word. Again, that's just something we need to spend time in God's word. I don't think I can emphasize that enough in our own lives. We just need to spend more time in God's word. We need to prioritize it. Whatever time of day it works for you, whether it's mornings, afternoons, lunch breaks, after school, in the evenings, before dinner, after dinner, whatever. We need to prioritize God's word in our life. We need to. And if you're looking for a place to start, again, just start with the prayers that we provide. Read that verse, pray those prayers, and start there. Join a Bible study or one of our Wednesday night classes that are studying God's word. You've got to start somewhere. Buy a devotional, something, but you have to have a deep relationship with God's word. That is going to be the thing that really begins to help us transition and become more like Christ in our life. We just have to have a deep relationship with God's word, but we also have to have a consistent relationship with friends that are Bible-based, that are, going to spend time in God's word with you, that you have a consistent relationship with friends that are just continuing to encourage you to stay in God's word, to encourage you to seek God more, that's the foundation of your conversations, not necessarily read more books or watch more podcasts, but seek God more. You need friends that are going to, on a regular basis, help you to seek God more, to pray with you, those kind of things. But then we also need a transparent relationship with a godly mentor. So I think every single person that's listening to this, that's watching this, that has this desire to spend more time with God, I think the ability to find someone as a mentor that will inspire you, that will encourage you, that will challenge you, that will push you to go deeper, someone who will continually encourage you from a mentor standpoint. I know that Sunday morning I mentioned something about mentors. I've had so many people in our church come up to me and say, we're willing to mentor. We're willing to mentor. Couples, we're willing to mentor. Individuals, we are willing to mentor people. We have such incredible people here at Faith that are willing to mentor. And I would say, if you are trying to grow, trying to become more like Christ, trying to figure this thing out, you're putting one foot in front of the other, you want to grow, and that statement that a life for God is a life that like God, a life living for Jesus is a life that looks like Jesus, and so if we're trying to let 2 Corinthians chapter 3 be true in our lives, where we're becoming more and more like him as we are changed in his glorious image, it looks like a deep relationship with God's word. It looks like consistent relationship with Bible-based friends. It looks like a transparent relationship with mentors. And it's just something you got to walk through. So we are here to walk through it with you. But those are so important, that church, the Bible, God's word, your relationship with God is not just a Sunday morning 10:30 to 12 experience. This is a every moment of every day, one foot in front of the other. I am finding Jesus in every area of my life, and I am committing to following him as he leads me in this life. And that's how we do this.